Marco and his daughter Samanta shared an incredible bond. Unfortunately, Marco passed away when his daughter was only 5 years old. During his funeral, Samanta decided to give her father one last hug. What happened next made people scream. Marco was born into an impoverished family in Ethiopia, and his parents had a dream of breaking free from the cycle of generational power. Unfortunately, they passed away before their dreams could come true. Determined to make something different for himself, Marco sought out ways to create a better future for himself. Unfortunately, despite years of hard work, he was yet to realize his dreams. To make ends meet, he worked on construction sites before turning to selling injera and dorawat by the roadside. He also sometimes took up night shifts at factories in order to make money to keep his food business up and running smoothly. After his night shift, he would go straight to his small shop and work tirelessly throughout the day without rest or sleep, selling his products. On one of these days at the shop, Marco encountered Morgana. What struck him first about her was her beautiful dark skin, then her enchanting eyes and cheerful smile. Morgana would come every day and at the same time to buy injera. It went on like this for a few weeks, and before Marco knew it, he fell head over heels for her. Morgana and Marco quickly became close friends during this period, but Marco yearned for more. He wanted Morgana in his life and couldn't wait to tell her how he truly felt about her. One day, when a heavy storm was predicted, it seemed like fate had given him just that opportunity. That day, Marco made only little food, so he had to apologize to customers who came after everything got sold out. However, he kept Morgana's injera aside, hoping she would show up. It must have been his lucky day because she came just after a few minutes. As Marco served her food, it suddenly began to rain. He was in a panic because he had to quickly pick up his cooking equipment and lock everything up before everything got ruined by the rain. Money was tight for him, so any unplanned spending would be out of reach at the moment. To his surprise, Morgana helped him pack up. With the two of them, it took only a few minutes, but by the time they were done though, they were already drenched. Marco apologized profusely to Morgana, but she waved it away with her soft smile, dated cover at the bus stop and talked for hours as the rain pelted down. As Marco and Morgana conversed, he could no longer contain his feelings. He finally confessed that he loved her and he wanted her in his life. Morgana paused for a moment to overcome by emotion. Then with a warm smile on her face, she said, "What took you so long? I've been dreaming of this moment." With those words spoken between them, their relationship began to take shape and soon blossomed into something beautiful. Most days, Morgana would join Marco on the street to sell food. Their love was a thing of beauty and it drew customers to their small food business. Morgana also helped spread the word about Marco's culinary talent, which further increased their customer base. Marco's business took a major turn for the better when he was contracted to provide catering services for a conference. This order gave Marco an opportunity to showcase his culinary skills and demonstrate the quality of his services, leading to more orders in the future. Profits soon rolled in, and within a few months, Marco was able to open a small shop. Marco considered Morgana his lucky charm and his love for her deepened. As Marco's business grew rapidly, his relationship with Morgana progressed even faster. It was as if the lovers had a premonition they would spend only a little time together. In just 8 months, they moved in together, and within 4 months, they were married. The couple was eager to start a family, but despite their best efforts and medical reassurances that everything was all right, they were unable to conceive. Morgana was troubled. Many times, she would stay up all night crying. Marco would wake up, sigh deeply and assure her that they would have children of their own someday. He was actually right. 2 years later, Morgana became pregnant. The couple was overjoyed. Morgana's pregnancy was smooth sailing, and in due time, the happy couple welcomed a baby girl whom they named Samanta. The girl was beautiful. She had her mother's dreamy eyes and her father's arched brows. It was as if the baby took all that time to come to them so that she could be flawless. A few years was all it took for Samanta's parents to realize that their daughter was a genius. By the age of 3, she could already read well and she had strong math skills. Samanta was hungry for knowledge and her parents indulged her. This trio were a perfect team. They did everything together and they were truly happy. Unfortunately, this joy was short-lived. On Samanta's 5th birthday, a terrifying incident occurred. The family was playing indoor games when Marco suddenly collapsed. In response, Samanta frantically held them tightly and kept shouting, "Dad, wake up." Fortunately, he regained awareness after a few minutes. Morgana attributed the fainting episode to stress and assumed it wouldn't happen again. But just a week later, Marco collapsed again. After these frightening fainting episodes, the couple went to the hospital so Marco could be examined. There, they found out that he was dying. Poor Marco was diagnosed with a terminal illness and immediately kept on their medical observation. Marco's health irrevocably deteriorated as each day passed. Morgana, however, kept this from Samanta and told her Marco needed to be at the hospital for some special reasons. Despite her young age, Samanta sensed that her father was ill. After all, she often went with her mother to visit him at the hospital and she could tell that something wasn't right. Little Samanta was frustrated by her mother's attempts to shield her from the truth. Marco wanted his daughter to be aware of the gravity of his condition so he could prepare her for what was to come. But in his weakened state, there was little he could do about it. One afternoon, as Morgana fed Marco in the hospital room, Samanta suddenly took her father's hands and with a hint of fear in her voice, she said, "Papa, are you dying?" Morgana stared at the young girl incredulously. Marco, however, stopped her from going off on the innocent child and with tears in his eyes, he said, "Yes, baby, Papa is. Papa can no longer be with you." In response, Samanta kissed her dad's tears. Then she held his hands and placed them on her chest. "Papa, you will always be with me, right here in my heart." After this incident, Morgana brought Samanta to visit her father every day. With Samanta's presence, Marco seemed to find a renewed sense of life. However, his health continued to decline rapidly. Despite this heartbreaking situation, Samanta remained strong and bravely held back her tears whenever her father experienced seizures or coughed up blood. Soon enough, it became clear to everyone that Marco didn't have much time left. Morgana refused to accept that her husband wouldn't fight for his life. "Why have you decided to leave us?" Morgana asked tearfully one day as she saw her husband lying lifelessly on the hospital bed. "You promised to be there always. To love me forever. Why can't you fight?" she asked angrily. Marco pulled her back with the little strength he had left, hugged her and told her he was sorry. But Morgana slipped out of his grasp and ran out with angry tears blinding her vision. After Morgana left, Samanta spent a whole day with her dad, refusing anyone entrance into his room. Samanta hugged her father tightly and they both wept. In their hearts, they said goodbye. Marco died peacefully in his sleep the next day. When Morgana learned of her husband's death, she was inconsolable. She was filled with regrets and she was angry at herself. She wished she had told him a proper goodbye and that she would never stop loving him nor get married to another man. Samanta, on the other hand, felt at peace. All the beautiful conversations she had with her dad helped her gain closure. Morgana wouldn't stop crying even at his funeral. Samanta was sad but dry-eyed. Just before Marco's coffin was lowered, Samanta felt an impulse to hug her beloved father one last time. She asked her mother if she could hug him in his coffin and the young woman conceded, seeing no harm in the act. Everyone looked on pitifully as Samanta stepped into the coffin and hugged her father for several minutes that felt like ages. Tears streamed down the little girl's cheeks and dampened her father's burial clothes. Samanta whispered sweet nothings into her dad's ear. Then she gave him one last kiss on the forehead, and that was when something quite shocking happened. To the guests' dismay, a dove suddenly flew into the cemetery and perched on Marco's chest. The dove slightly pecked Samanta and her lips stretched into a smile. While the adults shook with fear, some of the funeral guests screamed in disbelief. Even Morgana was a little unsettled, not sure what to make of it, but Samanta knew that doves represented peace and love. So she took this rare recurrence as her father's way of showing his love for her one last time. Years later, Samanta told her children and grandchildren about the incredible bond she and her father shared. She also told them how a dove perched on her father's chest and pecked her. Samanta's kids and grandkids also believed that Dove's presence symbolized the love Samanta and her father shared. What do you think about this story? Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.